Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Everybody pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee. Another day, another dollar. It's time to make some money today. Stock market went crazy last night, didn't it? The stock market went absolutely nuts. And I'll tell you what. So I prepared actually an agenda from now on. Let me turn this designer thing off. Right there you go. Prepared an agenda. So now you can see all the different things that I'm going to try to go over in this pre-market live with you guys, right? Yeah. And as I was preparing this agenda, I realized I go over a whole lot of stuff. I'll tell you guys what. I try to be very detailed, and I try to give you a really excellent framework for trading so that you can be successful. But sometimes I'm giving us so much information, you might want to grab a sheet of paper and just scribble down some notes when those things are actually pertaining to the things that you're really looking for your trading session. So for me, I love to have a complete composite of what I'm looking for as I go into the day. So I just want to thank all of you guys. You know what? I reached 100 subs as of yesterday, and that's in large part due to the people that are on this call right here. So I appreciate you, and it's a small beginning. 100 subs is not that many, but I've only been active really for about a month, so I really want to just make sure I put the thank you out there to everybody who's showing up on these meetings with me. Let's go ahead and take a look at who's in the house, and we'll get started. We got the Bilingual Stock Market Channel leader himself, the hardest working man in America. He's a beast, Alvaro. We got SK in the house. SK is one of my dependables. I can always depend on SK. And Lynn and Beverly and Arnold and Aisha, actually all of you guys. I almost beginning to feel like I know you guys. Giliande is also in the house. Giliande, thank you. Thank you for the congratulations. So let's take a look at the agenda really quick right here. We're going to actually do a quick review over Meta and Coin. I wanted to bring that up because I actually had some good takes on that. But at the same time, I was going so fast that if you weren't understanding about how I actually lay these items out for you for doing your trading, you might have gone the wrong way rather than the right way. We'll do a FinViz review, pre-market heat map, all the typical stuff, but I want to actually, something that I'm going to do new today is actually this right here, the fear greed piece right here. We're going to take a look at that. And then in the lightning round, we're also going to take a look at the SMH and the ETFs. And we had a special request from Gorilla, so I'm also going to look at the pre-market highs and the pre-market lows on some special tickers during the market overview on the ETFs. So that's the agenda. Let's go ahead and we'll get started with Coin and Meta just to begin with, okay? So we'll go ahead and minimize this, go back into our charts, and we'll go over here to a flexible grid, and I just want to show you this on Coin. So where we were at yesterday in the pre-market, this is what I showed you. Where we were at yesterday was we were kind of coming into this, that's not where we were. We're coming into this right here. We're coming into this right here. It was a triangle consolidation right there. And I mentioned that if it could actually carry up above, hold, this would be a go long, right? But I also mentioned that what I failed to mention, actually, I didn't mention it at all, that actually if you look above and you fail, and triangles, and even though that's an ascending triangle, triangles don't only break one way. And so what you had here was you had a look above and then it failed. And when it failed, it fails hard when you get that look above and fail. And that's the reason why I wanted to bring this up, because as I go through these lightning rounds, sometimes I fail to actually mention that. I actually did mention that this was in a triangle consolidation, but Elliot is, somebody who I follow pretty strongly. He's mentioned these things can actually break in whichever direction. And you can see it actually even down here in a better version of this. Here it was at 216 and running up into that, and it ended up failing out of that, and it would have actually been a great short. So I just wanted to make sure that you understood that. And then also, I made a great call on Meta. But I also did a similar thing where I was looking at it in the pre-market structure, and I was saying, so basically I actually showed you here in this structure right here. And the reason why I do this, once again, is so that as you are learning and as we're looking at this stuff together, I mentioned that it was in a significant downtrend and that it's actually, a lot of times it'll come up into these resistance areas and it'll actually break lower is what it'll end up doing. So what you got going on here was it actually ran right into that top level right there, and it ended up breaking down under, as you can see right here. And so that's exactly what ended up happening. But then also I mentioned that in the 15-minute chart, which doesn't hold the same strength as, say, a long-term chart, that if you could break up above this area right here and then test it and break out, it's a go long. All right. So both of those were actually triangle consolidations. They were ascending triangle consolidations, which I love trading ascending triangle consolidations. I love to trade them to the long side. But as you can see, okay, this actually was an excellent trade down to the downside. So I just wanted to throw that out there. That's a little bit of training for everybody. And I just wanted to make sure that we're on the same page with that. So let's see where we're at with our agenda. I want to keep my agenda to keep me on track. I'm going to go over FinViz really quick. All right, so FinViz on the review. By the way, I'm going to be doing my pre-market live report. Will show that as well. You can get that off of stockchartistry.com. You fill out a simple form like this, name and your email address, and I'll send it to your inbox every day. Okay, in the futures. The futures are killing it right now. If you are into the stocks, the futures killing it. Why are the futures killing it? Well, they're killing it because of this right here. Actually, let me actually make that a little bit bigger. There you go. It's killing it because of this right here, energy. Energy's down, and energy's down because Trump came out just over the pre-market, and I think he said that we're looking very close to having a deal with Iran. Well, when energy's down like that, that's going to bring your inflation fears are actually going to be coming down. So then inflation is transitory. You remember that kind of talk? So that's your percentage. Your bonds are actually going up. Your bonds are going up, but your interest rates are going down. And your inflation fears are also going down, right? And because of that, your VIX is going down. And because of all of this, stocks, the next one I'm going to actually do right here, stocks are all going up, and it's becoming risk on. As you can see, the NASDAQ is leading the SPY, and the Russell is leading the SPY. So this is giving us a real good indicator that right now the market's feeling really good. And then on top of that, your metals that have been really struggling in this environment, they're ripping up to the upside as well. So your metals are also going up as well. And then the dollar is even helping out because the dollar is kind of becoming down a little bit. So taking a quick overview onto that, we're looking really good going into the market. Take a look at yesterday. Yesterday, the market kind of, as we predicted right here on the show that the market would probably just trade sideways, and that's about what it did. It was really waiting to see what did AMD have to say about that report. And now we're living in the best of all worlds because not only did AMD report, but and they killed it and they got rewarded for killing it. But not only did AMD report, but then Trump came out in the aftermarket or the pre-market today and said, we might be looking at a deal. So now let's go to the next thing. I want to actually take a look at what's going on with the pain. So you can also see here on our max pain, we're finally starting to get some calls in here that are equal to what's going on with the puts. I've been complaining that the puts have been overwhelming the calls, and we will never go down as long as that is the case. But now it's kind of like an equal basis, right? So these are up, and these are still a little bit elevated, but that's because people already bought those puts and they're holding on to them. I don't think that there's new money buyers in the puts, but there's definitely new money buyers in these calls right here because this did not look like this yesterday. You guys remember that? All right, so the market is getting giddy. That's what we want to see if you're looking for a pullback, and I am wanting to see a pullback. Now, once again, these puts were already bought because we saw this yesterday, but we're looking now just at the week ending, and Your max pain for week ending, so you got 705. You're in gamma. You're in major gamma right now. So that means that the market maker has got to buy. He's got to go along with the flow, but he would love to bring this thing down. I'm not so sure you're going to see that happening this week. But you know what? The market could turn on a dime. And the reason why it could turn on a dime is what we'll go over in just a second, okay? Now, we also have something coming out in 4 minutes. That's the ADP. I'm not sure if that's actually going to play a big part on anything, but I wanted to show you this fear and greed index. And the greed right now has finally actually gotten a little bit heavy. We're over at 67. Now, look here. A month ago, we were in extreme fear, only a month ago. Try to remember now. A month ago, we were down at 22, extreme fear, and the market ripped up, okay? Well, the market's not in extreme greed right now. This market could continue to go up. You got to ride the wave. That's why I called this thing the ride the wave on the meeting thing, right? We've run up from a 22 all the way up to a 66, okay? Well, I don't really use this a lot, but what I would love to see is, and by the way, you can go into this parameter right here and stay there for several weeks before it ever frigging comes back. Trust me, I've been there, and it's painful to watch if you're not in the market. We're in extreme greed right now, right here, as you can see, and then greed with the stock price. But the rest of it's greed and neutral, and then fear. So just a quick overview on that. This is somewhat contrarian in my view. But let's see what else we got on the agenda to keep me on track here. All right, there you go. We did the max pain. We're going to do the market overview with quick charts. Okay. So once again, we still have that big numbers coming out in 3 minutes. And once again, I don't think that they're going to really be all that big. I wanted to actually show you this. I'm going to detach this gadget and I'm going to maximize it. This is on a 15-minute time frame. Look at here. Ever since... Well, you can look here that this is your ES right here, and then you have your NQ, RTY, right? So that's what we're looking at. Just getting a quick overview. And this thing has been melting up. What I was kind of surprised to see, but we called this out also, and actually I'll take this down just a notch, but I was kind of surprised to see that Bitcoin also it's not melting up at the same level as the markets are, but you can see that Bitcoin has actually been on a nice rise. So we've been keeping an eye on Bitcoin. And then you have your dollar. Your dollar has actually been kind of driving down. It looks like it's getting a slight pop up, but that might be nothing more but just a reaction. And then you got your interest rates are actually going down slightly on the 10-year. Your bonds are going up, which is a good thing. That means that the interest rates on the 20-year are going down as well. And now look at gold. Gold has been, in that descent right now, but gold is seeing a nice little rebound right here, and it's actually breaking that trend down. So that's not gold. That's oil. That's oil. Excuse me. So that's oil. It's breaking. It's actually going down. It's breaking the trend down. But I'm expecting that that's actually just a recovery play right there. But gold now, if you look at gold and you pay attention to to this right here, this is kind of where gold has the ratio where it reacts to it, right? A 1-to-1 ratio correlation is actually what I'm trying to say right there. So that's what we're looking at. It's actually very constructive for the market. So I love the way this looks. Let's go into the charts now. Don Fione from Gorilla with Glasses, he requested that we would go ahead and take a look at how the charts are stacking up with the gold and silver and stuff like that. So I've actually added them into my watch list right here. I'm going to start creating a watch list where I can kind of look at some of the ones that you're wanting to look at. Aisha, USO is on the list already. So Don Fione requested silver, gold, hood, coin, Bitcoin, and USO. My timer just went off, so let's go ahead and let's pay attention right now to what's going on in the SPY right now, because we have the numbers that are coming out, and I just want to see if there's any kind of major reaction on the 1-minute time frame chart, and then per our usual, we'll mark the high and the low if we see any kind of serious reaction. But if we don't see any, and it doesn't really look like we're getting much of a reaction, Let's see if we can get some numbers off of that. So here's your numbers. If it's going to come in here, come on. 5, 4, 3. All right, not giving us any numbers. Can't be blank for that long. All right, and on our 1 minute time frame charts, we're not seeing any kind of reaction. All right, it looks like it's, yeah, we're not really seeing too much. Can't get it to load. All right, so much for that. Let's just stick with the charts. That's really what I do best anyhow. All right, so it looks like it's going down slightly. We'll check back in here in a little bit, okay? So we'll see if we get any kind of serious candle movements on that. What I wanted to do actually is this. So I wanted to drive into these charts right here because most of the things that Don asked me about were actually already in the market overview charts. And so these are all set right now for a 4-hour time frame. And you can see that we ripped up over the 4-hour time frame, basically in all of the charts. We're putting in a little bit of a topping tail. Now, that might be a reaction to the report right now. And then I've got IBIT on here for the Bitcoin derivative. And then we have GLD for gold. Everything is up except for USO, right? USO is down in a significant way right here. We'll do a big arrow right there for USO. USO is down. Putting in a bottom tail, though. Right there, as you can see, off the 200 period moving average. Now, here's what I want to do for you, for you, Don. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show this with the. We're going to show it with there you go, the pre-market highs and lows. So we'll come into the SPY highs and lows later because we'll actually do a deep dive into the SPY. But let's go ahead. We're going to use IBIT right now for our high and our low. And so the pre-market high for IBIT is 49.96, so 47 essentially. Let's just call it 47. So pre-market high low for IBIT is 47. Your pre-market low is 45.95, so 46. And it's actually got a nice uptrend. It's actually got a nice pullback coming into 20 period moving average right here on the 15-minute time frame chart. So that's something that I love to see. You got a resistance area right through here. Okay, so if your price action should come down a little bit into here and then decide to actually come up above, maybe test and get above, that's actually a very nice play off of that. So keep an eye on that on your 15-minute time frame chart. Once again, you do have your resistance area right here with this pivot low at 46.33. You have your you also got your prior day close is 46.28, and then your 50 period moving average is right there at that same place. Also, on top of that, you know, the moving averages are stacked on the 15-minute time frame chart. So if the market decides to get bullish, this could actually be a very nice bullish play. Let's see what we got over here on the next one on the agenda. That would be IWM. We're not going to do that. We're going to do gold. Gold was also on Fione's request. So gold is 433.5 on the high, 426.46 on the low. That's your pre-market high and your pre-market low. It's underneath of the 20 period moving average right now. And it's actually picking something up right here off the 50 period moving average where it's also got a snapback low. It has a snapback high also at the 432.21. So it's a kind of a nice consolidation through here. I like what we're seeing right here where it's got a tight consolidation coming down into this channel. Would love to see it actually break up above this channel, do a little bit of a break up, back test that channel, and then go long. This is what I call a second. This is where I like to get in right here, what I call a second leg breakout right there. That's a second leg breakout on the 15-minute time frame chart. That actually, what I like about that is it actually burns up some of this overhead resistance that happens right after you get that initial breakout. So you get that breakout off of that, and you got some support off of your moving averages, you might be able to actually get up above the highs. You're going to experience a little bit of reaction here on the pre-market highs, so if you really want to be more conservative, you could actually come in off of this and off of that. As you know, that's a play that we like to play right there. On the lows, obviously it's down below the pre-market low and down below, right? So that's that. Let's see what we got for the next thing, because once again, most of these things are on the request list. TLT has actually been something that's seeming to get some legs up now, finally. I think with the oil relief, this actually could want to move up. It looks like they were actually putting in, looks like you got a little bit of a trend line right here, right? So there's a trend line there, and you've actually got it kind of going like that. It had a little bit of a break above and fail, but that's actually somewhat bullish. It came back and tested down here under the bottom. You have your 20 or 50 period moving average, so middle of the range, got some bullish candles. You're taking out this bearish candle right now. As we speak, it's taking out that bearish candle. Probably going to see a reaction off the high of this zone, right? So probably ended up seeing a reaction off of that high. Too bad I took that off. But probably going to see a reaction right around here, and then come back, test that 20 period moving average. So this has got a little work to do to get up above, but you know what? Gold actually could get some legs because of the relief it's finally getting from oil. And then oil, we talked about this yesterday. I told you oil was nothing more than a back test. Let me see how far out I can zoom this, right? Oil was, there you go. Yeah, perfect. So oil, I told you yesterday, was nothing more than a back test of this trend line right here. This was yesterday. I said, look, all you've done as you've actually ramped up is back test that trend line. And when you're back testing the trend line, unless you get above it, you're going lower. And what ended up happening? We went lower, and now we went down with impulse, as you can see. Major impulse. And this is news driven, so it's very difficult to trade. But where are we at with the pre-market on this? It's actually in the middle of the range. So in this middle of the range, there's not a lot you can do with it. You've got a snapback low down there on the bottom of the range, as you can see. This is USO, by the way, Aisha, so you requested this. 125.36 is your snapback low on that. You got a snapback high at 135.5. You got your moving average on the 20 period is really coming down hard. That's pushing down against price, right? You also have some down pushing coming in off of your 50 period as well. So it gets up above that. You're going to have to contend with the 50, and then you also got to contend with this price range right here. You got a resistance right here because you actually had a trading range. That means there was a lot of volume in this area. So if that means that there's a lot of people who bought in that area, and when it gets into that area, they're going to be like, okay, you know what? Whew, man, I thought I lost a lot of money, and I finally got back to break even. Get me out. That's the way that is traded. And so that's why it's so hard to break up above those trading zones. So that trading zone is significant. And not only is that trading zone there, but you also see one right here, and you even see one up above here. So this is going to be really hard to get up above any of these areas right now. This is a sell the rip kind of a stock in my mind. Okay, so play price action as always, but it's a sell the rip. All right, let me see where I'm at on the agenda. So that got us with the pre-market highs and the lows. I don't think I covered silver. I'll cover silver right now in this right here. So SLV, I'm kind of interested in SLV. SLV looks like it's breaking out of a downtrend right here on the 4-hour time frame chart. This is significant. I'm actually going to draw this line in permanently on my chart because I can see this trend line with my chartistry eyes. There it is right there. There's your trend line, right? Look at that. And it's almost a perfect match to the bottom trend line. I want to show you this. Right there. See? Right there. That's your trend line. All right. Now, the reason I didn't take it up to this high right here, let me show you something. I didn't take it up to that high because this high is actually ending. It's ending the trend of the bull trend. This is the beginning right here of the bear trend right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. It has a middle line there as well, right? So that's why I actually used the top of that other candle. So activate, there we go. We're going to put it in right there. And I'm actually going to name this hourly DTO. Okay, and I'm going to put an alert on it. I'm showing you guys this because One, I actually want to put it on, but then second, you can go back, you can review it. If you're in Thinkorswim, there's a lesson for you about you're going to draw a trend line. Maybe you will want to go ahead and put an alert on it. At that meantime, we're also looking at these moving averages right here. They're going to run up into there as well. This 20 period especially. The 50 period is going to curl around a little bit slower, right? So if this thing bounces back in and decides to do a back test across that trend line and then gives me a second leg breakout, once again, here's what a second leg breakout looks like. I have a candle that comes down. Let me see here. Let's do it like this. I have a candle that comes down. I have a candle that comes down. My candles aren't very good, right? My candle comes down. Okay, and then I have my breakout like this. And when it does this second leg breakout right here, that's when I get in, right? So that's what I call a second leg breakout. Why is it called a second leg breakout? Because you have your breakout right here. Here's your first leg right here. Here's your second leg, right? So that's your second leg breakout. And it's putting in a nice doji. You know what I call the dojis? People call dojis indecision candles. I call dojis decision candles. So if it gets down below here, you actually stay on the sell side. If it gets up above here, then now this is a battle zone right here. It's a battle zone. So if it stays as a battle zone right there, okay, that means that the bulls and the bears are fighting this out. The bears believe this has got to go down, right? So the bears are saying, man, this thing is going down. I'm selling, I'm selling, I'm selling. But the bulls are up here saying, I'm buying, I'm buying, I'm buying. And you know what happens when you get up above here? All of a sudden, the decision has been made, okay? The bears lost and the bulls won. But you get down below here and you get into this channel. This goes back to what I was talking about in the pre-market, right? You get back into this channel and maybe you break down this. You see this like kind of like that channel right there. It gets into here and maybe it starts struggling. It tries to get up above. It has the moving average. It says all this. Finally, it's like, I'm down, right? And there you go. So that is a way it could trade. You know, you got to be thinking both directions. But I think this has the higher probability of moving up in the upward direction. So that's where we're at with that. Let's go back here to my agenda. I'm trying to stay on track here. Sector analysis. I do want to show you this as well, really quick on the sector analysis. It'll be really fast for you guys because this is important. We are in a very, very bullish market right now, right? As we know. Okay, and that's because this guy right here, XLK, all right, XLK is ripping. I can't ever seem to remember which way to take this. There we go. All right, it doesn't matter. XLK is ripping up, right? There it is right there. XLK is ripping up. The semis are the ones that are doing all the heavy lifting, okay? Now, what do you have going on? Every other chart looks like this. Look at this. Every other chart in this stock, this is why this is the most hated rally right now. Look at this. Every other sector, although, maybe this one here isn't doing quite as bad. That one here, gold even is actually down. Every other sector is down. But the thing that's actually looking really good is you're putting in a double top right here on USO, and that could actually drive it down. Maybe some of these things can turn around. We might see some recovery plays off of these, but also what ends up happening is once this thing starts dropping, if these other stocks don't recover, this could be a quick descent down. So we have to know about that. On top of that, Bitcoin, as we have IBIT right here, it's recovering the moving averages. It's basically priced over all the moving averages. It's turning the moving averages around. We've got to keep your eye on Bitcoin, right? So there you go, sector analysis. That should give you a quick overview. The reason why I said yesterday that we're walking on a tightrope, 8:44 on the agenda right now. We got to go to the SPY. Make sure I'm going to check my agenda. So going over here to the SPY. All right. So yeah, the pre-market highs and lows. We're going to do the SPY, and then we'll do lightning round. All right. Very good. So let's put the SPY on here and let's dig into the SPY. And how can we not look at AMD also? I think we got to put that on our list as well. But man, the SPY could not look more bullish, huh? Look at the SPY on this 24-hour time frame chart. We're almost up to 730. Tommy Lee, I'm going to have to give the guy credit. You know what? He was so bullish, constant. He's always bullish. But he's saying that once we get up to 730 and maybe a little bit beyond, this market's going to have about a 15% pullback. And he's saying that's because after we actually bring in the new Fed chair, the market actually likes to test the Fed chair. And if you look here, I have this trend line drawn in right here. You see that? It has nothing other than this. I want to show you this. It has nothing other than this one point. How the heck did I get a trend line that actually I marked this trend line several days ago. I want to show you this. It actually marked where this pivot high would actually go to, this snapback high. How did I mark that? Did I do it from Tommy Lee? I didn't. I'm going to show you something. To show you how I actually found that trend line. This is what I call a hidden channel. I'm actually going to take this over here and we're going to drive into the 4-hour time frame chart. Guys, take notes on this. I want you to see how I did this. I took the bottom off. Okay, my mistake. Let me show you where I got it from. So I'm actually going to duplicate that line because actually I got that line from right here. This is the trend that I saw right there. That's the trend. I saw that trend. I duplicated it. And then I took it and I just dragged it up to the top right here of that. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to just extend it. And we'll see if that plays out. Look, it doesn't always play out, but I'll tell you what, you'd be surprised. The market loves to trade in channels. All right, so let me show you my channel. I drew this channel right here. I got several trend lines. I drew that channel right there about a couple of days ago. And I was like, you know what? I got to figure out how high this thing can go. So I looked for the high right here. Probably off of this candle makes more sense, as I told you. But you look for that high, and there is your channel right there. And it's what I call a hidden channel. So that's what you have going on right there. Now, right now, we're actually ripping up right here like this. This is very nice, okay? But what you got going on a little bit right now also is what I'm going to show you is it looks to me like you're putting in a little bit of a bearish rising wedge right there. So I do it. There is the strong possibility. Now, we have momentum going this week, and a lot of times momentum will actually continue through the week. But I don't know what news could actually maybe drive this down. But if you stay on your toes, because this thing could actually, you could see something like this very easily coming back into this 725 area. So or is it a 725? Yeah, 725 area. So mark that 725. Down below 725 is 722, right around where the 20-period moving average is at. So that's it for the 4-hour time frame chart. Let's go over here and let's take a look at the hourly for the SPY. On the SPY, 725 is marked out again. Your 20 period is actually on the hourly. It's at 726.5. So you also got a little bit of a consolidation range right here as well. So that's something to pay attention to. The market kind of consolidated around there. So it looks like you could see some price action around there. It's also a previous high. The market loves to come back and retest those previous highs. As you can see, we're putting in lower wicks. So there is buy the dip FOMO going on in the market right now. So pay attention to that as well, right? So we got buy the dip FOMO. Look at these lower wicks, lower wicks, lower wicks. Not a lot of higher wicks. Most of the higher wicks are very short, a little bit of a higher wicks right there. Just kind of short higher wicks, but the lower wicks these are serious. That's a serious lower wick, right? So it ripped down, it ripped right back up. So that's what's going on right now. But you know that the regular day traders love to make the pre-market traders pay. So remember that. Right now, we're trading at the middle range of I'm going to go ahead and turn on this is on the 1-minute time frame. So on the 1-minute time frame chart, let's look at our news came out right here at 8:15. Okay, we had a little bit of a reaction. Okay, it snapped back it was a snapback low right there at 727.8, put in a snapback low right there. It really put in a lower low. So in the pre-market on the 1-minute time frame chart, which that's this thing, it doesn't hold a lot of water. This is for scalping and day trading. So, but on the 1-minute time frame chart, we're putting in some lower lows, right? So you got a trend right here that could actually be about a 5-minute or 15-minute trend right there, and it looks like it's probably about right there. So. All right, well, let's put it on the 15-minute time frame and get a little bit deeper view into this. Okay, So on the 15-minute time frame, and here's your trading range right here in the pre-market, right? We're sitting here right in the middle. So there's really not an advantage for a bull or a bear when you come right out the gate. Now, what are we looking at on the moving averages? The moving averages, the 50, the 20, even the 20, even the 200 is actually moving up pretty nicely. All of your slopes are up right now. Your shorter time frame slopes, they're kind of like leveling out right here. Okay. So you're first buy the tip opportunity. Looks like it's right around here at 427. You got the 20 period coming in and providing support off of this snapback high right here on 429, basically 430, right? So, but you also got a snapback low at that 427. If it gets down to here, this could actually be a very nice place to actually look at going ahead and buying that dip. Your pre-market high or your prior day high is 420 or 725. So pay attention to that as well. All right, that's it for that. Guys, I wanted to show you the lightning round charts because I really wanted to take a look at the semis more than anything. And guess what I did for you? I actually put the semis into the lightning round for you so that you'll be able to see it. But before I do that, let's just look at the most traded stocks that I use on a daily basis. And I'm just looking for like what's at the highs and what's at the lows, okay? So let's just go ahead and do this. We got, it looks like Apple is trading out of a nice bull flag consolidation range. Very nice right there. AMD, as we would expect, is trading at a nice bull flag consolidation range, getting nice support there off of the 20-period moving average. You want to mark out this consolidation range. If we can get up above that, it'll actually continue to run, or it may fade. It has plenty of opportunity to fade because it's actually up, 15% in the pre-market, right? So that's going on. Nothing to talk about Amazon. Boeing had a nice move, but now, had a nice move, but it looks like it's giving some of that back. If it can hold that 230 area, it probably could actually be a nice long there. All right. So Coin has actually put in a bear flag right here, but yesterday it was kind of put in a triangle consolidation that actually favored the upside. So be careful with Coin, and it's getting ready to report earnings. So not sure about Coin, but it could actually go either way. You could put this on your list to day trade this, but don't stay long on a swing trade. Okay. Google has a nice ascending triangle going on right here, right? So that's a ascending triangle on Google. Ascending triangle on Google. And then you got Hood. Hood has another ascending triangle going on right here. So Hood's got an ascending triangle as well. Intel, you know what? This one's got to go on the list, right? Because every time I don't put Intel on the list, it does this. It has this nice consolidation range, and then it has a nice rip that you can own. Look at this. It loves to consolidate and then rip. Now, I'm not saying it's always going to rip to the upside, but you need to put Intel on your list because Intel's actually giving you some real opportunities. Microsoft can't get above the moving averages, right? So Microsoft is it's just having some struggles, right? Micron only goes up. Consolidation range. Now that I said Micron only goes up, watch it to the downside, by the way. Okay. So, all right, up above. If it holds above, go up, go high. 700 is a big round number. I would be concerned about that. Man, oh man, oh man. You know what? Netflix constantly is putting in bear flags. Someday it's not going to put in bear flags, but Netflix could be on your list. You could go either way. But continuation patterns tend to go to the bear flags can tend to go to the wrong side. I would look for this to pull back. That's a very clean ascending channel. That's showing the whales are buying this, right? They're buying on every low on that. So I would look for a pullback on that. I think the SPY probably could hold this trend line, but if it can't, 725 looks good. And USO has got a nice relief rally off of that snapback. But what did I tell you? I said rips are to be sold. When it gets up into here, I think it's a down. I think that is a down play. And then Visa actually was putting in a bear flag yesterday, but as it continues to kind of mosey up here to the top, it's going to take that bear flag out, and it's actually then going to try to maybe consolidate across the top. Now, here's what I really wanted to show you was my B20, because this is actually your ETFs of the SMH. And I wanted to really just take a look and see who are the winners and who are the losers. So when we look at this, NVIDIA has really just been a sideways play. It looks like it's getting a little bit of traction today, but only being up 1.8%, getting up to that 200 level again, putting another snapback high. Honestly, NVIDIA is just, it's been a dog. Okay, TSM has been a dog. Okay, AVGO, that's a winner. AMD, obviously, that one's a winner. It looks like it's trying to come back into this range, though, right here, guys. So be careful with AMD. Looks like it's trying to come back into here. It could actually give back a little bit right there before if it decides to go up higher. So that 425 looks like it was the high level. 400 is going to be a big round number for it. This one is an uptrend, right? So we need to play it to the uptrend. ASML, look at this thing. It's just continuing to rip higher. AMAT, that one also can go on the list. This one here has been on the list for 5 years. Lam Research, okay? So that one. Intel, we already mentioned Intel, and it's having a little bit of a pullback right now. Qualcomm, I'm loving the way this Qualcomm chart is looking. I love the price range on it too. This is actually something that's in that put range that I could sell puts on. If it comes and puts in a snapback low on an hourly, I'll probably sell some puts on Qualcomm. I like that it's got that snapback high right there at 186. So this one here is an upside play right now. As long as we're riding the wave, guys, okay? If they pull the rug out from underneath of you, these don't pertain anymore. Clack is up to the upside. This one here has been a sideways play. So here's what's interesting. A lot of these stocks that they're in the semis have been ripping. They're not actually ripping. Look at that. About half of them are sideways. Look at this, sideways. Okay, here's another one that's a long. All right, Marvell. Marvell has been like just carrying the load. It went from all the way from 162 almost up to 200, 175. Really in just a few days. Excellent move on Marvell. Another sideways action. And then ARM. ARM has actually had a very nice move up, but right now it's in a pretty much a sideways action right there. So ARM is somewhat sideways right now. If it loses that, I can see it coming back into that 215. So there you go. I wanted you guys to have an overview of like what's going on with that. Take a screenshot right now. I'm going to give you 5 seconds there. Take a screenshot if you want. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's done. Let's get into some business now. So what do we got going on here? Going back over to my agenda. Lightning round requested tickers. We're into requested tickers. All right. Already did USO. Looks like SK wants to see Microsoft. Want to see a deeper dive into Microsoft. I'm putting Microsoft on the list, but we're also going to did we look at Coin and Hood? I don't think we did. We didn't do a deep dive into Hood or Coin. So we're going to do that first. All right. So let's look at this on the 4-hour time frame chart. That looks pretty significant there. So I like the look of that. I'm going to take all of my indicators off for a second just to show you price action. And the indicators are very helpful. Don't get me wrong, but look at this. This thing here, I showed you this before. It has massive overhead there, overhead here, and then overhead in recent times right there. And that's what's killing Coin. But Coin wants to go higher. It wants to break the trends. It's broken this trend right here, and it's broken this trend right here. Okay? Let me go ahead and take my level down a little bit. Let's go ahead and dive into this a little bit deeper. Putting in a little bit of a topping tail right here, as you can see on the 4-hour time frame chart. It's doing a back test. What do we call that? We call that a second leg. This was your second leg right here. So it's already put in a second leg back test. Even the third and the fourth legs on those are even stronger. So if it decides to actually give you like a little bit of a trend down here and then a break above, eventually this is going to burn up some of that overhead supply. That's what this is doing right now. It's burning up the overhead supply. Come up into here, that's your trading range, and then up and over. This thing could end up going longer. It looks like it's holding itself a very nice trend going into this, though, as well. So you can mark off that trend. That's actually a channel. And remember, this thing is trading. This thing is actually reporting earnings, I think, today. or tomorrow. No, Thursday. It's reporting earnings Thursday, I believe. Let's go over here into the pre-market. On the pre-market, coin is your high is sitting here at 79.8. Your pre-market low is 76.8. So 76.8. You got a lot of action down there at that pre-market low. You got a snapback. You got pivot lows. You got your moving averages. Your moving averages right now, are they stacked? They are not stacked, okay? But they are turning up. Almost all of the moving averages are turning up. Even on this pullback, the moving averages are getting somewhat neutral. It looks like you actually got a trend line that you could actually work off of on this as well on the 15-minute time frame chart. It is nice to look for turnarounds off the 15-minute. Do not try to trade turnarounds on a 1 minute, maybe even a 2 minute. You got to go at least to a 5-minute time frame chart. Now, you've also got some pivots right there. So 78, 79 is pivots on there as well. And then your 20-period moving average is helping to actually lift this thing up. So this thing is going to probably want to pull out of this. Look for a breakout of that. A second leg breakout is even better, as we know. Going to the next one on the lightning round. We're going into coin, okay? Not lightning round. I'm requesting tickers. I'm actually going to pull coin into the 4-hour time frame chart. Nope, I'm going to pull it over to the 24-hour time frame chart. So here's coin on a 24-hour time frame chart. I'm actually going to move it back to a weekly chart. If you look at coin, it's actually putting in on the long-term basis. You know, it's got a bear flag consolidation, right? I mean, that's what that is, a bear flag consolidation. Massive overhead, just like Hood. Hood was the last one we were going over. So just like Hood, but it's trying to come out of this. Kind of reminds me of, I'm trying to change. Pulp Fiction, when he said he was trying to change. Samuel Jackson, I'm trying to change. Don't make me be the way I was. Look at this. Look at this trend line right here. That's actually a continuation trend line that I actually stopped when it actually broke out. But you know what? It's actually picked that trend line right back up. So we need to actually add that trend line back in here again. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to right click it. And I'm just going to extend it for now. I hate extending trend lines, but because it looks bad on the rest of the charts. But there you go. It's extended right there. That is your trend line. It's picking it up off of that. But also, you got to be careful. This is really a bear flag consolidation off of this right here. So if it breaks that trend line, and this is on a 4-hour time frame chart, you know, it actually is going to actually go down probably around the 20-period moving average, right around here, about 186, 190 area maybe, get up into this area, okay? That is somewhat of a back test off of this trend breakout. You see how you could get this ended up having the pullback right there. That's your second leg breakout, and then it continued up forward. But you see how you can actually just continue to rip even on that first leg. If you pull a first leg breakout, guys, this is what I do on a first leg breakout to just show you. I actually just put my stop up lower than the previous candle, you know. So if you do decide to play a first leg breakout, just do like this. And just ride it as long as it'll ride. So you actually could have rode this all the way up to here, right? Could have rode it up to there. So you could have actually taken that breakout. But if you take the breakout, that's like a very low risk entry. So you could actually do that if you feel like it's got some strength behind it, it's going to move. So that's the only way to actually play a first leg breakout. Okay, going down here. Yeah, so here you are. You're putting in a little bit of once again, you're putting in a little bit here. That's quite a trend down there, right there. So be careful with that. That bearish candle is significant. This bearish candle right now owns this. This is what I call a control bar right here. This is your control bar. If you can't get above 210, it's going to knock you down. That's usually signifying that there's a big seller right there. And there was a big seller right here, as you could see, as we look at that. So we look across the board on that. We just take that across the board in that same area. Look at that. Yeah. So you see here, a big seller, big seller, big seller, big seller, big seller, right? So that's why those control bars, they kind of like mark out areas and kind of give you this the information behind the scenes. By the way, guys, I'm available for mentorships and coaching on my website at stockchartistry.com. That's a serious breakdown right there. You know what? I would not trade a first leg on that because it's just the level of the impulse on that is just so strong. It's a 9:05. All right, so 9:05 is usually the time that I quit, but I have one of my favorite subscribers asking for a look at Microsoft. So let's take a look at Microsoft. Looking terrible on that 15-minute. Not looking so good on the 4-hour either, is it? So Microsoft here is looking like that. And actually, that's even worth drawing in. Let's do that. So I'm hanging with you here for a little while longer, okay? Don't forget me. Don't forget to put a like on my YouTube channel if you don't mind. I appreciate you guys. You guys helped me get up to 100 subscribers already. So that is your downtrend right there. That's more. Let's go into the 4-hour. It's on the 4-hour right now. Let's go into that 4-hour right there. And it looks like it's kind of a, yeah, if you look at it, that's a descending triangle, right? So it's got a descending triangle. Let's go ahead and add my indicators because the indicators are going to show the pivots. And there's your pivot 411. And it's actually trading below that pivot as we speak right now. And if it loses that pivot and loses this little bit of trend right there that it has, there's a little bit of a trend. See, there's your 409 right there, 410.05 on your 1-hour time frame charts. It's trading sideways. This downtrend line is actually putting in some serious problems for it. If you can see, it's been rejected multiple times off of that trend line. So who asked me for that? That was SK. SK, you asked me for that. SK, what you want to do is you want to add yourself that trend line on your hourly time frame chart, and then you're looking at a serious rip down right now. So for me, this is a little bearish. It doesn't look like this one's going to get loved today. So as long as it's staying right into this trading range, look at this, guys. I mean, this is massive chop action right here, massive chop action right through here. So I really wouldn't do too much with it. You're getting a terrible drawdown. I wouldn't mind seeing it actually get up underneath it. This though, if it did get up underneath of it, I think you actually could see some more downside. I am on board that Microsoft still offers a great product and that it has great winnings or great earnings as well, so that it might be an investment play in the future. All right, here's what I'm going to do for you. I don't have time to do now. I apologize about that, but I'm going to put now on the list. I will do now tomorrow, okay? You guys have a great day. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Put a like on my YouTube. And if you don't mind, throw a comment on there. Tell me, is this market going to go higher than 730? And if it is going to go higher than 730, how high do you think this market's going to go before we finally see a pullback? How high can it go? All right. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later.